Sup everyone, this is Karak with ACG. Have you ever sat back and thought, man, I wish I didn't have to leave the house to smell like vomit and nachos and choke on other people's smoke just because I want to play a game of pool? Well, now you can. If you have a Vive headset, that is, because ladies and gentlemen, I am stoked to bring you the review for Pool Nation VR from Cherry Pop Games. That's right, strap on your nerd goggles, grab your sword gun wands, and leap into a world where smashing balls is both legal and not a part of the darknet. Let's check it out, shall we? As always, if you like the video, maybe subscribe. So here's the review for Pool Nation VR, a game that won't let you lie about how good you are, the world's worst dart game, and possibly the most dangerous environment for inebriation and games of skill that I have ever seen. Graphics are, of course, up first. You know, I can't lie, whether you're smack down on the lowest end of the graphical settings or up in Ultra, the game really does actually look good. It is a darkened environment though, which means you will be susceptible to the inevitable darkening of locations normally easily viewable by the human eye, but brought to you by VR and screen door effect. But honestly, if you stay near the pool tables or play a bit of darts or stand for a moment and bask under the illuminated Tron-like bar lights, the game really does shine. While walking around the location can also net you some noticeably cool little touches like reflections in the shiny rubber around mats and various other little lighting moments like reflections within posters. But the moment-to-moment gameplay is really where it's at here, and I have to say, the presence in this title is probably the best I have yet to see in a VR game. It just nails it. From the leaning over the edge of a table and having to remind yourself at all times that you can't lean on it, to moving around the small establishment for finding just the right shot. This just isn't really a game about throwing fiery balls of magical mayhem all around the level. It's Pool Nation VR, and that aims for a clean, clear aesthetic and with a few comical bits built in, and I think it does it really well. Now that being said, unfortunately its performance is a bit lackluster, with the GTX 980 dropping frames sometimes when just looking at the various blocky people that constantly mumble and rock back and forth. In fact, it's pretty much like you would assume a Scientologist audit party would be after everyone realizes it's full of shit and no one can go home. Just little pockets of people sort of rocking side to side, and for that you can see some heady shifts unfortunately in the frame rate, which like marriage seems to be an absolutely terrible trade-off. I will say this, there's no place you're going to be able to go to feel this cool and this close to a pool table unless it has an actual pool table, and despite some noticeably dark areas and the Rift's notorious screen door effect, once you get playing, most of that just falls to the wayside and is replaced by rock solid immersion and presence with the occasional missed frame. Sound, music, and voice. And of course, sound is up first, and it's spot on. From that first shot that sort of starts the game to the sound of the ball against felt or the constant thrum of automatons milling around the location. There's both enough direct feedback as well as ambient environmental feedback to quickly fool your brain into thinking you could basically watch around for the next alpha male to accidentally bump you and try to start a fight. It's really well done sound, though there isn't a ton. Music. Now, this is hit and miss, and the inability to use your own music right now in the jukebox is a stunningly missed opportunity. What is there is a song from a couple various genres that plays out like it's underwater and wrapped in pillowcases. My hope is to see a good number of actual songs, or the ability to use your own, but right now you have a mix of some kind of country, some kind of deep throbbing bass track, and a couple others that my brain warned me I better forget or I'd pay the price. Absolutely middling music at best. Voice. Really none, so let's move on. Gameplay. I'm going to cut this short. It doesn't have a ton of things to do other than pool. Darts is throwaway and needs major work, and I think the last dart I threw is still bouncing like a sharpened stick version of Mario, just hoping to impale someone. And yes, you can mess with random items like dominoes haphazardly stacked along the floor or various chairs, boxes, and bottles. And of course, I did try to instantly cut the throat of someone with a broken beer bottle and was disappointed to see that he just didn't seem to give a shit. I then tried sawing his arm off, and that also didn't work, so I have to say I'm pretty disappointed. But it's the pool that matters, and goddamn, they nailed it. As someone who still plays the occasional game and mostly loses, I can say that this thing is absolutely rock solid in its physics, from hitting the cue ball so hard it flies off and breaks a bottle to being able to actually walk the table and plan out shots accordingly. Hell, you can even tell exactly what the other player or AI is doing as they walk around the table and take in the situation. Very cool. Also, the AI runs from easy, medium, and hard, and due to the way it's programmed, occasionally it has hot streaks and flubs. That's pretty cool. It works quite well for AI in a pool game. Now, to make a shot, you basically press a trigger to sort of lock down the shot with one hand, and then with the other wand, there are a couple ways for you to add advanced techniques, like spin to the cue as you move around with that wand. It takes about 5 minutes to really grasp it, and then the one-for-one tracking on the Vive just nails it. I mean, it's amazing. It feels like you're playing pool. If you suck, prepare for utter disappointment, because though this can help you be better, at first it will just be like real life without the pool hall 1980s haircuts. What's cool is there are additional helping hands though, like a visual guide that can be displayed as well for those who want it, and you can lock your grip onto the side of the table in areas to make some shots a bit easier to make, what with this actually not being a real damn table and all. You can also customize various items that you unlock as you play and win matches, like hats. That's right, hats, as well as a new table felt and some other stuff. I did have a couple issues with hiding and rearming the pool cue, with it sometimes not appearing or appearing sticking out of my character's head. Now, switching it back and forth a time or two seemed to work. The game isn't deep in and of itself, but its mastery is applying an excellent engine in VR to an actual game that is, in and of itself, insanely deep, allowing you to fully realize the presence of being that VR can provide. The first time you try a trick shot and it works is something I don't think I can really explain very well, and it's not been mastered in any other game of this type, and I have to say that the feeling of pride at winning a game is probably the most real sense of accomplishment I've felt so far in a VR title. For now, Pool Nation VR stands as the best translation of real skill to virtual skill, and most importantly, back again in any title I've seen, and yet still remains enjoyable. Fun factor. Well, it's pool, and that's about it. So your fun is going to be directly related to the times you can play pool in a row without realizing there is absolutely nothing else worth doing in the game but pool. It's a fantastic showpiece for others to see just how much VR can nail some game types. I had a blast, but this is solidly a title mimicking a real-life activity so closely you may wonder why you're not just actually going and doing it instead of pretending you are. So as always, you guys know I rate a game on buy, wait for a sale, deep sale on Steam, or never touch it again rating scale. This is absolutely a buy. Here's the thing, in and of itself, yeah, it is just pool. It's got some upgrades, it's got some things you can customize and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is, if you're a pool fan, you're probably looking at this. If you're a Vive owner, you're probably looking at this. And we have all seen games that aren't really games that are out there for this system. To me though, this is well worth the price, and I can't wait to see what else they do next. So as always, if you guys like the video, hit thumbs up, maybe check out Reddit, Patreon, what have you. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. And as always, peace out.